everybody. I'm doing a quick interview with my with my good friend Aubrey Curley. She's from Page, and she tell yourself a little, like give yourself a little background.
A little background.
Yeah.
Grew up in Page, Arizona. I am a basketball champion, technically. I have a ring. 2015 from Page, Arizona is when I graduated. I went to Yavapai with Avery for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated with my associate's science. Then I transferred to ASU where I majored in electrical engineering, and just this year I graduated. And I am currently working for NASA as a controls electrical engineer. So.
Okay, yeah, so this series is going to be me giving quick questions. I have a podcast with Damien, but this is kind of something that I'll do by myself, like with college students that I know that are successful, and especially with Aubrey, since she's a Navajo ASU engineering graduate. I feel like this is a perfect way to start off the series. Because I know there's a lot of aspiring Native engineers, and it's really hard to adapt. So we'll get Aubrey's perspective on things. And this will be a quick 5-minute interview, and we'll see how many questions we fit in. Or how many questions Aubrey can fit in.
Okay. How many I can actually answer? Okay.
Set and go. What made you go to Yavapai?
What made me go to Yavapai? I think I was terrified of going straight into ASU or into a big university because I felt, coming from Page, it was so small, I was used to that, and I think Yavapai for me was just a good transitioning point.
Okay. So how was it a transition from Yavapai to ASU?
The transition for me was pretty good. I think it prepared me for bigger classrooms. It prepared me to really learn how to study and already know how to manage my time.
Was it hard to be a Native student in an engineering program?
Yes. I think being a Native student and being female made it very difficult because I didn't see that many people growing up as engineers, and just coming into classes and not seeing that many females or that many people of color or even natives. It was pretty difficult, but I think with my traditional values, just understanding that, I guess it kind of helped me.
So how did you stay on track to graduate in 4 years?
A lot of coffee. And I think I just tried to focus as much as I could. I think a lot of time management and just being able to understand that how badly I wanted it, because there are times when it's, do you want to go hang out with your friends or do you want to study? And that's always difficult, I think, but understanding that I do have to focus on my work, and even though I have a part-time job, you have to put in the time. And I think just how much I wanted it so badly that I was able to give up other things, give up sleep and, things like that. So,
what was your work-school life balance like?
Work-school life balance. It was difficult. I think my planner was the best thing I had. It helped me schedule things out. For me, I needed things like, okay, from this time to this time, you have free time. What are you going to spend it on? You should study this, this, and this. So that was my best friend, and just being able to say no to things at certain times, because I tried not to overwhelm myself too much with too many responsibilities.
Did you ever feel pressure to be a Native college student?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure to it for anybody, just because I think a lot of my cousins looked up to me, and I had a lot of people looking at me, seeing I mean, some was good. Some were like, I don't know if she'll get that far. Some of it, like, I can't. Like, they were proud of me. And I think there's a lot of responsibility because once you make it there, there's a lot of people that look up to you. And
Did you ever miss home while you were in school, in college?
yes, I think my first year was the worst. Yeah, I think my parents dropped me off at college, and for a month I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't know that many people. I would cry sometimes because it was just me and my parents, and I was so used to Paige, and getting off the reservation was such a culture shock.
How was your first chem class?
My first chem class was daunting. I remember walking in, it was completely full, sitting down and having Professor Smolniak walk in and just terrified me, saying, half of you guys won't even make it through the first few weeks. And it was terrifying. I was like looking around hoping that I could get past this class.
What does it mean to be a state champion?
What does it mean to be a state champion?
Yes.
To me, it just means that you worked hard, you put in a lot of dedication, and you're a champion. You're the best.
How was it playing against Navajo Beast Shandiin Armao?
Playing against her, I think she's a great athlete, and it's difficult, but I mean, it was fun. It was a good experience. It was good to have somebody push you to I mean, I think both teams pushed each other, and I think athletes, when you play against someone that's really good, it pushes you to try and do better.
What were your study habits like at ASU?
My study I guess
That's right.
I'll just answer that last question.
We could just keep going.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. My study habits. I would study a lot, but I tried not to overwhelm myself. I tried not to study to the point where I was brain dead. I did quick sessions with myself.
How many Native students were in your program?
How many Native students? Native, I think not very many. I think I've come in contact with maybe 10 Native students, but even less were Navajo.
Mm-hmm. How'd you like, did you like ASU better or Yavapai better as a learning institution?
I can't answer that because, okay, I loved Yavapai because it was for a small college. They had a lot of diverse courses, but for ASU, I did really enjoy their engineering program, and I thought that it was nice that they had Native American clubs and places where you can go to meet natives that were also in engineering that knew the struggle that you were going through.
Mm-hmm. How was it dealing with breaking some of the Navajo traditions?
I think it is scary at some point, but I think some traditions have become a little outdated. I feel bad saying that, but some of them are. I mean, at some point you have to break a few rules if you want to do something great.
How do you deal with stereotypes in college?
Stereotypes. I think it's hard. It was pretty difficult because I remember making friends and they were asking me how it was like to live in a teepee, and and there were times when I've heard people say, "Oh, I thought you were this Indian, not that Indian." So it's difficult, but I guess you just have to build a tough skin because that shows more of their ignorance. And I mean, I guess it makes sense because not too many people know how Native Americans live today, so it's difficult, but you just have to have a tough skin and just stick to you and just do you, I guess. And
how's the transition from high school exams to college exams?
I think the transition is kind of difficult because it's a lot more daunting. For me, it was, at least, because you're in a room with 100 other students and you're taking a big exam. But I think for the most part, once you learn the way your professor does the exam, like, you learn that some professors go straight from the book. Some of them are from lecture, and once you learn and you adjust to that, there's not too much of a difference.
How was it dealing with cultural change in college?
Cultural change, I think it was really difficult. For me, I will admit that I did get lost a few times, and I had to go home. I think for me, going home was kind of the remedy. I kind of found myself, and taking care of cattle and sheep kind of helped me. Just like being on the res and talking to my parents, getting traditional prayers done, ceremonies done. I think that helped me kind of keep in touch with who I am and remembering where I came from.
That's awesome. So you went over 5 minutes, but we answered all the questions that I had. So it might be around 10 minutes, I'm guessing. But yeah, there's a lot of information here. I struggle with a lot of tradition and versus college, because you do break a lot of rules. And it's really hard as a Native student going from like a 50% class full Natives to you're just being the 1% at a college. And I know I struggled with that, so I'm hoping this video with a successful engineering student at ASU that is Navajo helps other people accomplish their goals, and they know that it is possible. Yeah, because in the long run of like being at a 4-year institution, it does get lost, and there is going to be times where you do lose hope of graduating, and you just got to keep struggling through. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.